think it was David had scarlet fever, and my girlfriend and I were very chummy, and we had a big yard. In fact, we had a tennis court to the north on one side, and then we had a big driveway on the south of the house. And we were in quarantine, and we had a horse. We had a big barn at the back of the yard, and we would get on this horse and ride around the house, around the yard, and make a complete circle around the house. And we were in quarantine one time. Jack had scarlet fever, and the girlfriend, even though we were in quarantine, the girlfriend would come over at night, and we'd ride the old horse.
What could be more fun than a story about your grandma and a friend coming over, breaking quarantine, riding a horse around? What else did I find out about this oral interview with my grandmother? They had a tennis court in their yard, a large driveway, a barn in back, and a horse, and other things. So oral histories can just be amazing, fun experiences. We'd like to talk today about some resources and ideas for doing them. First of all, where do I start? The standard answer, FamilySearch.org wiki. They have a great introduction and very technical about types of equipment, what works, what doesn't, how to set it up, how to do questions, and so on. Another great resource is the Smithsonian.org. They have been doing oral histories for years and have a great booklet that you can download and use. Again, a lot of the same information is in the wiki, but again, another great resource for starting oral history. Okay, let's talk first about FamilySearch.org wiki. You'll sign in. Actually need to sign in. Just go to the main page, click on Get Help, which will bring up this drop-down menu, and then you will click on Research Wiki. This will take you to the wiki page where you will put in the subject that you're searching for, oral histories, and that will bring up this page, Creating Oral Histories. This is a long, extensive page, as I've indicated. It talks about recording equipment, how to do questions, saving the files, the histories, sharing them, and so on. So this is a place to start. This is the Smithsonian homepage. When you put in Smithsonian.org, it takes you to this si.edu page. You will, in the search box, enter the term oral history. Take you to this page. The second item is the interview guide, which you can download as a PDF. It looks like this. It's about 28 pages, just full of information that is very helpful for doing an oral history, for storing, for sharing, and for making all of the physical details for doing the history. What would be the first steps if you wanted to do, or when you want to do, your oral histories? First, whom do you want to interview? Is that the oldest living relatives, your parents, your siblings, neighbors? Who is it that you want to interview that can give you some history and some information about your family? After this question, you want to determine what type of an interview you would like to do. What's going to be the focus? Is it going to be informal, where you have a person record the memories and talk about whatever they would like? you're likely to get some great stories and things, just letting them talk. A second way is to have a directed interview where you want to record specific events or make sure that certain things or particular ancestors get covered in the interview. Sometimes you can, you will find that if you are having the person talk about specific events and people, they may get wrapped up in the facts and not really get out the stories. So you have to be careful not to get too involved with the details. A third way to do interviews is to get several people together to talk about an event or a specific relative. And a lot of times the synergy among the people will lead to additional stories and events and memories that maybe one person doesn't remember. So there is an advantage to interviewing several people together about a relative or an event. Once you have decided these questions, get permission by explaining your purpose to the person or people you want to interview, and then make an appointment. What types of questions might you use for your interview? If you are using questions, try to make them open-ended for the most part, such as, what are the fondest memories of your mother? If you held a job as a teenager, how did you make money? What did you do for work? So that then the person can think about it and respond. You may wish to come up with a list of topics with the person before you start the actual interview to give the person time to think about certain things. You can also ask direct questions such as, who was his father? But as this will probably get you a few words in response, you'll probably want to follow up with an open-ended question that will let them respond and give you more of a story. What was your dad like? Did you have any special memories with him or spend any special time with him, or so on? Another way to use questions is to have objects there. Bring a photo or a photo album. Bring an object like a uniform or something, or an heirloom. A lot of times this will spark memories and will help to elicit great stories. Remember, questions are to help focus and guide, but you don't want to use them like a question and answer period, because what you want to do are the stories, the memories, and the important things that were important to the person that you are interviewing. You need to arrange for recording equipment, and of course the first thing to do is to test the equipment and know how to use it. There are few things worse than trying to deal with technology and learn a recording device when you're at the interview. So spend some time ahead of time. Make sure that you have a power cord or extra batteries so you don't get caught without a way to continue if you have technical problems during the interview. A microphone is also helpful. Make sure it's inconspicuous, test it beforehand, and resolve any quality issues. For example, do you clip it on a collar, on the chest? Do you clip it down lower? Where does it work best and pick up the sound best? So figure that out ahead. Digital recorders are fairly inexpensive, in the $50 to $100 range, I would say. And there are lots of different brands. Just look for good features. They are very good. And microphones are also good, especially the clip-on kind. You can also use a smartphone and apps This happens to be the memories one from FamilySearch.org. The screenshot is over on the right. This is how you what you would do to record a memory. You just click the little plus button in the upper right hand corner. You can record up to 5 minutes. Then this will be uploaded directly to FamilySearch.org, and you can link it to the person whom the story is about. The Smithsonian has a free app also. It's called Stories from Main Street, and you can use this to record stories and also to upload them to the Smithsonian. There are many, many more from commercial vendors who are interested in preserving and sharing, or helping us preserve and share, the oral histories that we do. Of course, there is always the sound booth at BYU. If you go to byu.edu and then to the Harold B. Lee Library page, click on Media Center, which will to this page. You click on Multimedia Lab, and it will bring up this page. If you scroll down, you will get to the information about the sound booth. The sound booth pictured here is not exactly probably not exactly the same, but it's similar as the one at BYU. I'm told it holds 4 to 5 people for the ultimate in a quiet recording experience. Of course, you can reserve this online. It is free, but I would talk with them and work out any details, such as bringing a flash drive or a hard drive or whatever you will need to preserve the audio file that you create. Again, this is on the 4th floor at the BYU Library. Have fun doing your oral histories. Once you have recorded them, you will need to figure out how to preserve them, how to catalog them, possibly transcribe them, and share the histories once they're finished. You can refer to the FamilySearch.org wiki or the Smithsonian for help in these matters. But again, have fun and preserve these oral histories while the people are still able to remember.